So I was out at dawn to do a little bit of chub fishing, and despite the rain, the sunrise was stunning. And one of my favourite methods of chub fishing on small rivers is what I call sending out the dogs, which is where I spend a bit of time just introducing small chunks of bread and letting it float downstream, and just like a pack of dogs, it hunts out the prey, because sooner or later the chub give away their presence. And once you've worked out where they are, it's just a case of putting a small bit of floating bread onto a hook, which is simple fishing even by my standards, and then getting yourself into position. Now the chub is a curious fish, somewhat of a contradiction. On the one hand, a greedy bully, and that will take anything from a single maggot through to a 4-inch dead bait. But on the other hand, a fish that is petrified of its own shadow. So you do need to be very, very stealthy when getting into position, because if you cast a shadow across the water or you tread too close to the bank, you can be sure they will turn tail and disappear. So it always pays to start as far upstream as possible and let your bait drift down to them, and then their gluttony takes over and you stand a much better chance of getting a take. Now there are plenty of chub in the Rother, but they don't reach the sort of sizes that they do in the well-known chub rivers like the Dorset Stour or the Hampshire Avon, so you do need to reduce your expectations somewhat. But the fish that are there are bright as a penny and fighting fit, and provide excellent sport if you fancy wandering around for a couple of hours with just a rod, a net and a bag of bread. And of course, because I'd been introducing bread into the swim on a regular basis and it had been floating down, it meant it had baited the next few swims. And if you can sneak into position and get a bait out relatively quietly, then takes are almost instant. Now, I'd actually had to sort of crawl on my hands and knees to get into this spot, and I somehow managed to get the line trapped behind the reel, which was making it very difficult to wind. So I thought I'd actually hooked a proper monster. So I was a little bit disappointed when it turned out to be significantly smaller than I thought, but still bright as a penny. And I added half a dozen of this size in little more than an hour and a half, 2 hours. So if you've got a few hours to kill, I highly recommend it.